day 156 of 365 days of meditation. Just wrapped up my morning practice, and wasn't the very first thing I did today, actually. I got up and I spent, I don't know, half hour at least working on a puzzle. There was a puzzle on the table, and if there's a puzzle out that is partially complete, I will spend time doing it. So that was the first thing I did this morning. Then after that, I went and meditated for about 40 minutes. 30 minutes, the first 30 minutes were Kelly Howell's guided meditation for inner peace. And then I closed down my meditation for another 10 minutes, just sort of in quiet stillness. And not a ton to report. I did notice that my mind was wandering off a little bit onto sort of maybe outcomes I don't want. I was focusing on that. I caught myself a few times kind of going down rabbit holes of things I don't want, and then sort of bring myself back into the present moment. Sometimes I'll just ask the question, where are you? And the answer that I come up with is, I'm here, I am now, just kind of as a reminder, like, to be present. And sometimes I'll just kind of catch myself and sort of think it's funny and that I've gone down that rabbit hole, that thought rabbit hole, and then just bring myself back and breathe maybe for a bit, focus on my breath and relax. But I do notice the tension that occurs in my body when I'm thinking about, unpleasant things or things I don't want. I've actually noticed even my heart rate, if I'm getting sort of emotionally worked up over some imagined scenario, my heart rate actually increase. But yeah, today wasn't to that extreme, but did catch myself wandering off. I was also thinking a little bit, or at least it popped into my mind, this idea of, in terms of mental health, being isolated when you're struggling with mental health, or with anything really, anything difficult in your life. If you're isolated, it makes it worse. And so I was thinking about, I don't know why it popped in my mind, but maybe because it's Easter right now. But this idea that, what is prayer? Prayer is, allows you a always open line of communication to some, greater force, depending on what your flavor of religion is. Personally, myself, I'm not religious, but I was thinking about it in terms of like meditation as well, which I think really prayer and meditation are more or less the same thing. There's different types of meditation. Some seem to be a lot more like what kind of prayer is, the visualizing what you want, that sort of thing, potentially wanting good for other people. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm not a religious person, so does that mean I don't have that open line of communication? That feeling that I'm never alone, I'm never isolated because I have my God or whatever to communicate with. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, some people in meditation, they believe there's sort of some sort of higher intelligence, not necessarily God in the religious sort of flavor of it. Some people believe there's sort of a collective consciousness, that all human beings are sort of connected in some way. The whole universe is conscious. There's that theory as well, that some of the leading physicists will and cognitive scientists will sort of propose or put forth. And then I was thinking, okay, well, do I know any of that? And not really for sure. And then I realized, okay, well, at the very least, I can always have a conversation with my subconscious, and when I'm in meditation, and that seems to be remarkably helpful, both in terms of, if I'm struggling with something, I can kind of bounce it off myself, if you will, when I'm in meditation, especially if I drop into a deeper meditation. And I can also seem to get answers back from my subconscious at times. And not only that, but I can go in and sort of rework some of those belief systems that are embedded in my subconscious and some of sort of the automatic programs that run in my subconscious. So Whether you are religious or not, I think that meditation has tremendous benefit, and I do think that in many ways it is more or less, or at least very similar to prayer. So yeah, that was it. That's where my mind wandered off into today, at least towards the end of my meditation. And that's it for today. In closing, as always, if you're struggling at all with your mental health, do not suffer in silence. Talk to somebody, talk to somebody, talk to somebody. And I would say, even if you do have that connection with the God of your choosing, and you can have that conversation, great. If you believe in the collective consciousness of the universe, or some other form of higher intelligence, great. If you meditate and can connect to your own subconscious and have a conversation there, great. But even if you can do any and or all of those things, I would still say seek out a human being and have a conversation with them if you're struggling with your mental health. Because if you are struggling, somebody might be able to have someone that you talk to might have a suggestion, or might be able to empathize or sympathize with what you're going through, and it might just be good to get it off your chest, rather than feeling like you have to hide what you're going through. And that was my experience anyway. When I struggled with my mental health years ago, I felt like I had to hide it, and in doing so, it really only made it worse for me. I realize that now. I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, that's it for today. Again, struggling with your mental health, talk to somebody, talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Don't suffer in silence. Help yourself and help end the stigma around mental health. Thanks for watching. Hope this was interesting and or useful. Have a great day.